Okay, I'm back, and in this video we're going to put the push rod through over to the um, servo. And so here's a nice long push rod. Now it's going to be too long. We're going to have to cut it off. But I'm going to start with reminding you a couple things. I've already got the battery and the switch and the receiver hooked to that rudder servo. And also want to show you the what I call a quick connect here. Okay, these quick connects are from Great Plains. Okay, that's the package. It comes in a package of 12. You can get a package of 4 or 5 too, a little bit cheaper. But per piece, the 12 is the best buy. And so that's what it looks like. It's got a little pin on the bottom here. I'll hold it with that. And it's got a little hole in it. And it's got a little place. I guess I got to get it back out here so you can see it. So it's got a hole through it. And got a hole on the top. Hole on the top is where the the screw goes. I like this screw because it's a hex head. It's 3/32 SAE hex head, and and then the other thing that comes with it is this little plastic piece, so that little plastic piece is hard to see, hard to hold. There we go. Nope. Okay. How about that? Okay. Nope, I dropped it onto my keyboard. Okay, so there's a little plastic piece in my hand there. Okay. And I've taken the arm off the servo, and there's a rough side to this arm and a smooth side. The rough side matches the rough side on the other piece for the servo, and those two rough sides go together to prevent it from slipping. And so in order for this quick connect to get it into that arm, it's just not quite big enough. So take a 1/16 drill bit and just drill out the last hole. Okay. And do a good job of drilling it out so it's a nice slip fit. Okay, and then you can push this thing through just like that. So there you go. And then the reason for this nice little pair of pliers here is because you need something other than your fingers most of the time to lock it in place. So with the rough side down like that and the quick connect on top, I'm going to put the plastic piece on the bottom and press it with my thumb. But it doesn't go in tight enough, so I'm going to use these pair of pliers to push it through all the way, okay? And locks it in place. Now, this quick connect can turn easily, but will not come out that I've ever seen. And then the push rod, other end of the push rod, the one without the threads on it, can go right through that nicely, and I'll start the screw just enough to hold it so I don't lose the screw. Okay, but still the push rod can go through it. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop the film a minute, put this back on, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I've got the servo arm back on the servo. Remember, the servos were already centered, and because you don't take that other piece off for the arm, then it's going to stay centered. Now what I'm going to do here is on the end of the push rod that's threaded, I'm going to move the nut all the way to the back. Okay. And then screw on the metal clevis. And thank goodness they gave me metal clevises. Otherwise I'd have to supply my own because I can't stand plastic clevises. Okay, so you get this metal clevis in there far enough, and then you screw the nut down so that the nut holds the end, and then you can see how far the push rod is into the clevis. And you have to remember, if you haven't already done so, make sure you put the piece of fuel tubing onto the clevis before you screw it on, otherwise you're going to screw it off and do it again. And so the next thing to do is to put the push rod through the hole and come over here and make sure that it pushed it in too far. Back it up a little bit and make sure it goes through that quick connect. And now I'm not gonna hook this to the control horn yet. I'm just gonna have it where it would be hooked to the control horn, and I'm gonna take my gold Sharpie marker and mark where to cut that arm off, cut that push rod off, because it's all the way into the center of the other part of the cabin here. And so I'm going to go ahead and mark it about an inch about an inch beyond the quick connect, and then I'm going to pull it out and cut it. So here we go. Okay, I'll get my good cutters. My good cutters and my old cutters. These are channel locks that I bought about a year ago, and they're nice and sharp. So there's my gold mark right there, and I'm gonna just cut that off right about there. Okay, and then you got to sort of hold both pieces so they don't fly away on you. Okay, that's what I cut off. And then we can push this back in. Make sure it goes into the quick connect. Okay. Now, I'm not sure what the book says about which hole to put it in, but I know what I want. I want it in the middle hole. So it's going into the middle hole of the control horn. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put the keeper on that. Okay. And then last but not least, the pièce de résistance, as they say. You want to keep this centered. So what you do is you take a bunch of 2 pieces of balsa, and I got some tiny little rubber bands on either end. And this actually says it in the book, where I learned the trick a long time ago. So you put that in there just like that, and that sort of helps keep the rudder nice and straight. Now you have to sort of move it around and let it be straight there. And then we're going to get the radio out. Okay, so there's the radio. I'm going to turn the radio on. And
warning, throttle high, warning, high rates. Low rates.
Okay. Wrong model anyways. That's my Kadet LT40 that I was flying not too long ago. I'm going to put it on the Kadet Senior. Okay, so now it's on the Kadet Senior, and I can go ahead and turn on the switch, and that's just going to make sure that the servo is centered. I'm going to double check this and make sure that the rudder is nice and centered. Then I'm going to grab my 3/32 hex driver, and now that the rudder is centered, the servo is centered because the radio is on, and I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the quick connect. Now, before you do any testing, remember to take this thing off. Okay, and that looks nice and straight. Now it's time to make sure the rudder works. Okay, pushing the stick for the rudder to the right, and the rudder does go to the right, and that will turn the airplane to the right. Turn the nose wheel the other way. We'll get to, I'm sorry, it turns the tail wheel. I don't have a nose wheel. And so that's going to turn it to the right. That's going to turn it to the left. And I don't have any low, medium, and high rate, so we're going to see what full rudder deflection looks like, and that's a lot. Okay, it's a nice big rudder. If I had a longer arm, it would actually go more. So it's not quite what I call full deflection. If you wanted more deflection, you could have put a longer arm on it like I did on the ailerons, but that rudder is more than enough. Okay? And so the rudder control horn is now working correctly. If you wanted more deflection, you could actually use the inner hole, but I'm going to stick with the middle hole, and that looks pretty good. So the other thing is, with these quick connects, at some point when I'm finished building the aircraft and before I fly it for the first time, I'm going to go around and put thread lock anywhere it needs it. And the two places in this case it needs it is I'm going to put thread lock on this nut here, and I'm going to put thread lock on the screw that goes into that quick connect. And that just sort of locks that down, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to do all the thread lock at one time because I make a list of everywhere that needs thread lock, and I'll go through that list as one of the final check-off items that it's ready to go for its maiden flight. Okay, rudder push rod done. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.